it be with me, your man, Louie T. Welcome to the 2019 AFC North preview and projections for the upcoming season. We've made it to the finish line, our final division of the 8, and maybe I saved the best for last because this division arguably the best in all of football. You could argue that this division could have 3 teams come from it out of the AFC, and you would not be crazy for thinking that way going into the season. Now, I don't think 3 teams are coming out of this division, but it's not far-fetched for those 3 teams that we think are really good in this division to potentially be representing this division when it's all said and done in the AFC postseason. So we're going to talk about this division. You've got the upstart Browns, who a lot of people think are not only ready to take command of this division, but are ready to compete for a Super Bowl title. I don't think that is the case. As a matter of fact, I don't think they're ready to compete for the division crown, but they're a very, very talented football team, but yet very, very young. And I think that's going to come back to haunt them, the inexperience of this football team and the fact that they have to gel together. They've kind of thrown a lot of these pieces into the mix together and expected to yield dividends in year one. Don't necessarily know if that's going to be the case or not. We've seen it happen before, and it wouldn't shock me if it happened again with this young Browns football team. You look at the Baltimore Ravens, the team that won this division last year. I look at them as probably the most exciting potential team to watch in 2019. I know that sounds crazy with Lamar Jackson at quarterback, and can he even be a serviceable pocket passer? A lot of people are debating that right now. I think they're going to run it a ton. They've got so much speed on that football team. Justice Hill has looked phenomenal this preseason, and they've added Miles Boykin and Hollywood Brown, and of course Lamar Jackson is the guy that you have to account for as a runner as well. And so I'm looking forward to them. We know what they bring defensively. Don't think that's going to change, and so that's a team I'm really looking forward to watching in 2019, as all of you should as well. They won the division last year, and they're going to be right in the mix again in 2019. And don't forget about the Steelers. I think a lot of people like to forget about the Steelers. No more Antonio Brown. He's causing headaches in Oakland now. No more Le'Veon Bell. He wasn't there last year, but that cloud isn't hanging over their head as he's now moved on to the Jets. This is a team now that has sort of hit the reset button, but they're not rebuilding. They're not reloading. They've already been cocked and ready to fire. Now, there's no more jam. Last year, Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell, those situations jammed the gun up a bit last year. Now, it's been cleaned, it's ready to go, and it's ready to fire. And I think this Pittsburgh Steelers team is waiting in the weeds. Everyone's talking Ravens. Everyone's talking Browns. No one's talking Steelers. And I think they actually prefer it that way. I'm just saying, I think that's a team that you have to look out for in 2019 as well. And then there are the Bengals, the lowly Cincinnati Bengals. I actually had high hopes for them this year because no one was talking about the Bengals, as they shouldn't be. And then AJ Green gets hurt, has to have foot surgery, probably going to miss the first quarter of the season. That's going to sting because they needed to get out of the blocks quickly in order to have any chance of having a season. Now, with him not being there, you kind of turn your attention to some of the other guys. I don't know if they're going to be good enough. We saw what this team looked like last year without A.J. Green. Hell, we saw what this team looked like last year with A.J. Green. They were actually not that bad early in the season. I think they even got off to a 3-1, 3-2 start before the wheels kind of came off with all the injuries. I think that's going to start a lot sooner than it did last year, and unfortunately, I think it's going to derail their season. But we will see. Let's get into this division. We start in Baltimore with the team that won this division a season ago, and let's take a look at what the Ravens potentially can do in 2019. So let's take a look at this schedule, and we start on the road at Miami. The Dolphins are going to be one of the worst teams in football, so I expect whomever is at quarterback, we pretty much know week one it's going to be Ryan Fitzpatrick. Don't know for how long, but that's going to be good enough to get the Ravens their first win off and running in 2019. The next week, look, the schedule makers did them a huge solid. When you look at the way that schedule starts for them, away at Miami, you don't mind playing away game there week one. Week two, you're home for Arizona and Kyler Murray. They're going to befuddle, confuse, and batter and bruise Kyler Murray in week 2, and that's going to lead to a win at the crib. And so just like that, they're 2-0 off and running out of the gate. Unfortunately, all good things must come to an end, as a wise woman once told me. And you're at Kansas City in week 3. That's not a great look for you there. Although you did play them really tough last year and had a chance to beat them in Kansas City. That was last year. This is this year, and you're not going to get that one there. Then you got the Browns. This is intriguing because the Browns think they're ready to do something. They're the new kids on the block, and they're ready to take over the block. You've been running the block along with Pittsburgh. Y'all been going back and forth, having turf wars. And now here come the Browns saying, hey, man, we want in on your territory and your territory. And this is your chance early in the season at the crib to slap these young boys around and say, hey, this is my block. And so this is a big game in week 4. You let them come into Baltimore and beat you, you got bigger problems on your hands than just the Pittsburgh Steelers. You take care of business. You put those boys in their place in week 4, and you'll be sending a message to not only them, but the rest of the AFC North that we not to be played with and tampered with. I think you do that in week 4. Take care of the Browns at the crib like you're supposed to. Then the following week, you're at Pittsburgh. One thing we've seen in that rivalry is that neither team respects the other house. Very disrespectful of other people's stuff at their crib. I think you're going to be just as disrespectful in this game as you've been in the past at Pittsburgh. And I think that's going to lead to a Ravens victory in week 5 on the road at Pittsburgh. Then you're home for Cincinnati the following week. If you're looking to stack on top of wins, more wins, the easiest way to do that is to check out the Cincinnati Bengals on your schedule. And so you do that there. But then they give you the kiss of death. At Seattle. That's a tough place to play. Now, they didn't give you the worst kiss of death, which would have been Seattle on the road on primetime. At least you have a sliver of a shot. But still not good enough against Seattle in that environment. I just don't see you getting the win there as you fall at Seattle going into your bye week. So, you come out of the bye, and before we even get there, at this point, going into the bye, you're 5-2. You're riding high. You're sitting pretty. You're playing excellent football. Shit is sweet in Baltimore right now. And then you come off the bye, and the one team I've always said in the league that doesn't have Patriot problems, especially in the AFC, is the Baltimore Ravens. Everybody else may be scared of the Ravens, the Patriots, not the damn Baltimore Ravens. They never have and never will be, especially with Tom Brady at quarterback. They're not scared. And they're going to show it again in this particular game as they're going to get to Brady and they're going to get that win off the bye at home. The following week, again, if you want to stack dubs on top of each other, no other team's going to help you do that better in your division than the Cincinnati Bengals. Home, away, it doesn't matter. The jungle used to be a feared place to play. Welcome to the jungle. We got fun and games. It used to be tough to go in the jungle. Welcome to the jungle. Not no more, man. It ain't the jungle. It's the bungle. Over there in Cincinnati is they're going to get run. Remember last year, speaking of getting run at the crib, how many yards did you run for? How many straight plays did you run on in Cincinnati last year en route to a 23-0 victory where you ran the football down their throat, something like 29 straight plays? Something crazy like that? I don't think it's going to be that bad this year, but it's going to be bad. And it's going to be a Ravens win nonetheless. So, the following week, you're at home versus Houston. This is somewhat of a trap game. I think the Houston Texans are actually going to be better than I gave them credit for. But I have you taking care of business, and I don't feel bad about it. The following week, though, Monday Night Football at Los Angeles Rams, that is. That's not a spot that I like for you there. I really don't like that spot at all. But the following week, you bounce back at the crib, Jimmy G and company, like that spot for you there. And let's just pause and kind of reflect on what you've done in 2019 to this point. You look up at the standings and, man, you're sitting pretty right now at 9-3. You've taken care of business. You put yourself in a position to repeat as AFC North champions for the second consecutive year. All you really need to do is win 2 out of your final 4 games. Pick any 2. It really doesn't matter. Just pick 2. 11-5, probably going to get you the division crown. All right. Now, you'd prefer those games to be against the teams in the division, but at this point, who gives a shit? Just get 2 out of the final 4, and you're going to win this division most likely. And unfortunately for you, as good as you've played this season, you picked the wrong time of the season, the final quarter, to start to falter. It starts in week number 14 at Buffalo. Man, is that a tough place to play, especially late in the season. I really don't like that spot for you against the Bills. And to me, that's going to be a loss. The following week, a short week, you're at home versus the Jets. You stop the slide there, though, and win for the second time in 4 games by getting the win at home versus the Jets. But then the last 2 weeks of the season, you're on the road at Cleveland, and you got them earlier in the season. This time you're on the road, and the Browns aren't playing around this second time around. And so you lose that football game. And then you went to Pittsburgh and won earlier, so now you know you got to get some. And you know, like I said, generally you guys don't sweep each other. There's usually a split, whether you win at home or they win at home, whatever the case may be. You got them in Pittsburgh. Now they're coming to get theirs back from you in Baltimore, and you lose that game. And so just like that, you go from 9-3 to 10-6, which is still good enough for playoff football. However, it's not good enough to win the AFC North division. And so that's a tough, bitter pill to swallow when you were sitting at 9-3 with a great chance of winning the division. But you still get in the postseason. All bets are off. Just not going to have that home playoff game like you did last season. Moving on to the next team in the division, it's the Pittsburgh Steelers. They finished in second in this division last year. Let's see if they can improve upon that in 2019 with less distractions. Arguably less talent. No A.B., but let's see if less distractions equals more wins for the Steelers. So let's look at the schedule, and we start out. I hate this spot for you. Sunday Night Football at the defending Super Bowl champion New England Patriots. This is the second time they've done this to you in the last 4 years. You're not going to win this game. You never do. And really, it doesn't matter where this game is. It seems like you just can't beat the New England Patriots. Home, away, controversy, no controversy. Just seems like it's tough for you to win that game. Either way, you're not winning this on a Thursday night when the Super Bowl champs get their rings and this, that, and the third. It's just a bad spot. I hate the fact. I like my Steelers Patriots week 15 or later. I like mine right there at the end of the season. A lot at stake. The number 1 seed in the AFC on the line, that kind of thing. Don't give it to me week 1. That's trash, but it is what it is. You take the L and you keep it moving. And as a matter of fact, you double down on that L and at home for your home opener the next week. Seattle comes to town and they sneak you. And just like that, your season is in peril and on the line week 3 at San Francisco. You got to have it, baby. You got to have it in week 3. You lose this game, you drop to 0-3, you're Dunsky in 2019. And you feel the sense of urgency. You go on the road, you save your season, and you begin to turn things around in 2019 with that win. The next week, I told you, if you want to stack dubs on top of each other, no team in the division going to help you do that more than the Cincinnati Bengals. So going home on a Monday night to take on the Bengals is probably the best thing that could have happened to you on your schedule at this point. So you get back to 500, a much-needed win there to get you back to 500 on the season. But then the Ravens come to town, and you're thinking, man, we got a great shot right now to get our second win in the division in a row and also be able to knock the Ravens off on a 3-game win streak. It sounds good. It really does, but it's not happening, as you already know. The following week, though, a little bit of payback. Remember last year on a Sunday night, the Los Angeles Chargers came back down late in the fourth quarter and beat your ass when you had them dead to right, all right? Now you got a little bit of payback on your brain on the road. You're going to go into Los Angeles, take over the stadium. It's going to be like Heinz Field all over again. You're going to be waving yellow rags, and it's going to be a Steeler environment. Those terrible towels will be flying around, and you'll think that the Steelers actually are at home, not on the road, and you'll go in there, and you'll take care of business, and you'll beat the Los Angeles Chargers in Los Angeles to avenge a very hurtful loss last year on a Sunday night. And you'll do it on a Sunday night to them in your rematch and revenge game in 2019. Then you hit your bye week and you come off the bye, and look who's waiting on you. Another layup. The Miami Dolphins. You take care of them. And this is when shit really starts to get real for you. You start to rev it up. That win versus the Chargers really started to get you going. You win against Miami. Now Indy at the crib. You take care of them. And all of a sudden, you got it going, and you need it because here come the Rams into town, and they're a good football team, and you're going to need it. And you get it done versus the Rams, and now you're smelling yourself. And the Browns, short turnaround on the road in Cleveland on prime time on a Thursday night. Browns are waiting for this. They circled this game on the calendar. They think we ain't shit. We going to show them. They give you everything you could ask for, including an L in that ball game. And so you lose that football game in the first showdown between the young upstarts and the veteran bullies in the division. And so, again, anytime you're looking for a dub, all right, call Cincinnati. And thus, you use your get out of jail Cincinnati free card. And so you get that win in week 11, and that sets you up for another showdown, the second time in 3 weeks versus the Browns. And they were so amped after they beat you the first time. They had a letdown game the following week versus Miami. And now they come in a little bit wounded, pissed off, but wounded. And you take full advantage of that opportunity to get those guys as you get them back the second time around in Pittsburgh. And so now you're playing excellent football now. Winners of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of your last 7. You've ratcheted it up. You got the Arizona Cardinals on the road. Who gives a shit? You run right over them like they're not even there, which takes you to Buffalo. All right, home for the Bills. Again, Bills aren't going to be a pushover by any stretch of the imagination. However, you're playing such good football, it really doesn't matter. You get the Bills, take care of them. But then, just as we saw last year, inexplicably, you're playing good football and you have a letdown. Last year, that letdown game was in Oakland. This year, it's going to be at home, but versus the New York Jets in an inexplicable loss late in the season where you just don't know what the hell are the Steelers doing. All the momentum in the world, and they find a way to lose that game. But you bounce back the following week on the road, division crown on the line. This is for the division. Winner takes the AFC North. They're going to move this game to Sunday Night Football. Winner takes all in the division. Loser still makes the postseason, all right? But the winner wins the division and gets a home playoff game. And you're going to go to Baltimore and beat the Baltimore Ravens. And with that win, you take sole possession of the AFC North in 2019. So, we go from there to the team that everybody is sipping on the juice. Sipping on gin and juice. Laid back. They sipping on that Browns gin and juice, though. Not any juice. Sipping on Browns gin and juice. I'm not. And just like a couple of years ago when I said, don't drink the Jags juice, don't drink the Browns brews, man. Don't drink the Browns brews. All right? Not booze, not brew, brews. That's what it is. It ain't booze. It ain't brew. It's brews. All right? It's poisonous, man. All right? Your ass will wake up. And I'm just saying, you don't remember what happened the night before, man. All right? A lot of craziness went down. I'm not saying. I'm just saying, put it down, man. Put it down. Put the cup down. All right? Don't get yourself into trouble. So, week 1, they are home for the Titans. I expect them to take care of that. I mean, they're going to be so amped for that game. The excitement level for the Browns in 2019 is unlike any Brown season since probably 1986, okay, 87, when they were actually good with Bernie Kosar and thought they were going to win a Super Bowl. All right? They haven't been this amped in Cleveland for a season in a very long time. So there's no way Tennessee's coming into Cleveland week 1 and winning. They're just not going to do it. But this is why the Browns aren't going to be as good this year. One, they're young, okay? That's my biggest problem with them is they're young and they're dumb and they just don't know yet. And that's okay. That's how this league works. You got to learn. So there are going to be some letdowns. There are going to be some games where, you know, they play really well and then they have a letdown game. And I'm going to talk about that as we go through the schedule. But 2, they've got some brutal games on the road, you know, in some situations where they can win. They are very capable of winning. But if they were at home, it'd be a much easier slate for them to navigate. So here's one of them. I'm going to tell you right now, your season is going to go dramatically different if you win this game week 2 on the road versus the Jets. Now, I have a feeling the Jets are going to be stupid amped for this game. It's Monday. It's a Monday night game. The Jets aren't on Monday Night Football very often. Prime time for that matter, even. All right, so them getting a Monday night game that early in the season, Sam Darnold, they're excited about their season. That's going to be big for them. I just don't see you going into the Meadowlands and winning that football game week 2. So by virtue of that, you take the L there. And why that game's so important is because you start 2-0. Look at what you got coming your way the next 2 weeks. Okay, home for the Rams, at the Ravens. That's tough on top of tough stuff, man. You win against the Jets, and even if you drop the next 2, you're still at 500. But you drop that game to the Jets. Now you lose these next 2, which I got you losing these next 2. Now you're 1-3. Oh, shit. And now you got to go on the road against San Francisco on a Monday night again. Oh, shit, they did it again. They did it again. Another Monday night game. This is what happened when they think you're going to be good. This is what happened when they think you're going to be good. They start sending these toughies your way on the road on prime time. It's tough to go in another man's building on primetime television with all that fanfare. And people think the 49ers are going to be good this year. We don't know if that's going to be the case or not. Jimmy G hasn't looked all that great, but I still think that defense, that team's going to be good. And Kyle Shanahan, don't you underestimate. Y'all know in Cleveland, he did wonders for your offense. You know what time it is. And so on the road at San Francisco, what are they trying to do to you? Are they trying to kill you early in the season? Goddamn. Goddamn, son. Goddamn. So that's another loss. Oh, shit. Here we go. Seattle at the crib. Damn, it doesn't get much easier. But, I got you winning this football game, man. I think you find a way to get Seattle at the crib to stop your 4-game slide. Just like that. You stop the damage, the bleeding, going into your bye week. Gives you a little bit of momentum going into your bye. Boy, is that short-lived. These schedule makers are trying to kick your ass. Off the bye, New England at New England. Shit. God damn. So, does it get much easier after the bye week? Any kind of momentum that you thought you were going to have post-bye, that shit gets demolished right away as they give you New England. Then you got to go to Denver with that defense. On the road, I just don't like it. I don't like that spot for you, man. What are they trying to do to you? What did you do to them? I know what it is. You talking too damn much. Baker Mayfield out here talking too damn much. Freddie Kitchens out here talking too goddamn much. So they had to make you pay. So now, you look at the schedule. Shit, you are 2-6. All right, now, you can fight your way out of this. And this is why you got to love young teams. Even though you're 2-6, and you got finger pointing on, Odell is pissed off, Juice is pissed off, Baker's getting mad. So shit is getting ugly out there. But it's a young team with a young coach they're going to figure this thing out. And so now you're at home versus Buffalo, and you start to see the wheels turning on a young team that's starting to figure some shit out. All right? And so the Bills come to town, and you win that football game. And all of a sudden now, you got all this momentum going into 2 out of 3 versus Pittsburgh, and you're looking forward to this, man. This is a game you circled on the calendar before the season started. Now that you think you can turn it around, you just had that players-only meeting, and you didn't iron some shit out, aired out dirty laundry, and y'all figured some shit out. You beat the Pittsburgh Steelers in Week 10, and boy, you send yourself on this big high, this emotional high off this win. So much so, on a Thursday at the crib, no less, okay? Primetime television in front of everybody, you emasculate the Pittsburgh Steelers. You feel so good about yourself. That's 2 straight. You forget that you got the Dolphins the next week. And you let the damn stinking ass Miami Dolphins come into town and beat you. What the And that's what a young team does. That's the shit I'm talking about. You young, you dumb, and you just don't know better. And that will serve you for future references. You'll understand that you can't do that shit. But because you did that, you lose there. You try to refocus for the Steelers, but now they laughing at your dumb ass. I'm laughing at you. I'm laughing at you now. And so now they're going to come in your building, or you're going to go to Pittsburgh, and now you got to take this L because they laughing at you now. All right? They done took off. They done hit their stride now. Now you trying to pick up the pieces after what you thought was about to be a resurgence. And again, what did I tell you? See, this is the problem. Baltimore got they Cincinnati's out the way early. Pittsburgh got they Cincinnati's out the way early. Those are freebies. Those are gimmies. You didn't get those when you needed one. When you lost 4 straight, you could have used a Cincinnati. Baltimore got a Cincinnati. Pittsburgh got, where my Cincinnati at? Oh, they saved yours for the end of the season. Well, too late. You don't need them shits now. But You're going to finish this season on a high note, man. And guess who's going to help you do that? That's right. You guessed it. Cincinnati Bengals. So you get them twice down the stretch, and you're going to use both of these the way you're supposed to. So you get Cincinnati once, then Cardinals at Arizona. You run through those boys, and then you get the Baltimore Ravens. You trying to play spoilers at the end of the season. They trying to win a division. You like, man, we don't give a shit about what you trying to do. You take those boys down, and then you look up and you say, man, where were you at? All right? Where was your ass at? When we needed help, where was your ass at? They weren't where they needed to be. At the end of the season, here come the Bengals once more. You could have used this earlier in the goddamn season. Where the hell was they at when you was taking attendance in the classroom? I don't know, man. I don't know where their ass is at. You take attendance like it's classroom, bruh. They were supposed to be there, but they weren't there. But 4 straight to finish up the season, Nate, not bad for a team that at one point was 1-2 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. For a team that was 4-8 with 4 to go, that ran off 4 straight. Not bad. It's not good enough for the postseason though. But hey, man, you're building something. I know you ain't trying to hear that shit because you was building something last year when you went 8-7-1. Or was it 7-8-1? Either way, you was building something last year when you went 7-8-1. Now you 8-8. Now you ready to strike next year. We'll see what happens. And then finally, it's the Cincinnati Bengals. And I actually think the Bengals aren't this bad. But the injury to A.J. Green, the injury to Jonah Williams, it's just not starting off well for them. At some point, I hate to say it, I'm going to knock on wood. Tyler Eifert's probably going to go down at some point. I'm knocking on wood because I don't want that to happen. And I'm just saying, new head coach and Zach Taylor, hey, don't be surprised if Ryan Finley gets some run this year, man. Hey, Andy, this is not the year to break a finger on somebody's helmet or, something like that, strain a shoulder, whatever. This ain't the year for that, man. Because I'm telling you, you get out of the lineup, Ryan comes in, plays some good ball, you might not get your shit back. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Anyway, let's run through this real quick, man, because it's not pretty. As you already have imagined, it's not pretty at all. Similar to the Detroit Lions in the other North Division, this shit is not pretty for the last place team. So we're going to run through these real quick. Week 1 at Seattle, shit. Right out the gate. I mean, no A.J. Green. It's already bad enough no A.J. Green, and they do you like that. You're home, though, for the San Francisco 49ers, and no, it doesn't matter. Buffalo on the road, yikes. I don't like that spot for you, even if A.J. Green was healthy, which he may be by week 3. He may be. But if he is, it's probably his first week back. Gonna have to work his way in slowly. I don't like that spot. Then Monday Night Football at Pittsburgh. Shit, man. If there was ever a chance for you to get off to a fast start, they say, hey, take 3 out of 4 on the road to start against some tough teams in Seattle, Buffalo, and Pittsburgh. Oh, by the way, that Pittsburgh game is on Monday Night Football, just in case you were wondering. I mean, how am I supposed to get off to a good start? You give me 3 on the road out of my first 4, and those are against really quality opponents on the road. That's tough, man. Not to mention not having your best football player. That doesn't help either. So then you look at Arizona at home. That's a chance to get a win, man. That's a chance to get a win. And if you ain't going to win that game, you ain't going to win many. You win that game, but guess what? You win that game, but you still ain't going to win many this season. But, hey, you got to get them when you can. And that's one of the ones you can. The next week, though, you're at Baltimore. Nah, man. That's not a good look. Jacksonville, that's a winnable football game. You play some defense. Nicholas Foles turn it over. I don't know, maybe. No, I'm not having it. The next week at the Rams, yikes. Then you go into your bye week. After that loss, you're 1-7 at this point, and you come off the bye, home for Baltimore. Ay caramba! They doing you dirt McGirt here, man. At Oakland, why they couldn't be at home versus Oakland? I don't know. Why would they do you like this? I don't know. I don't make the schedule. I just give wins and losses out. That's it. And then the next week you're home for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Doesn't matter home or away. They own you. I own you. That's what they used to say on the game I used to play. I used to love that game. It was NFL 95. I talked about it on my podcast. I own you. That's what the guy used to say on the game. And that's how the Steelers be talking to you on Sundays. And so you get a loss there versus the Steelers in that football game. And so now it's the Jets at the crib, and um, that's a winnable football game, right? Like, you should be able to beat the Jets, right? At the crib, right? Yeah. That sounds good. Yeah, let's get that one. How about Cleveland on the road? Nah, not that one. Nah, not that one. All right, well, all right. Let's. How about New England at the house? New England, right? Crib. Why not? Nah, doesn't seem like the right time, man. Maybe next time. Maybe next time. How about the Dolphins at Miami? You good for that? That's Josh Rosen territory. You good for that one? On the road? Late in the season? Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, that one sounds good. Hey, then you finish up. Nah, Browns not having it late in the season. They making a little run, making a little statement to finish up. Nah. You already know what this is, man. Put your hands up. Nah, F that. Put your hands down, man. It's 3-13. Don't worry about it. 0-6 in the division. You might get one. You got one last year. You were pretty bad. You should get one this year, right? Maybe. I was thinking you could sneak Cincinnati once, but then I said, nah, you can't sneak Cincinnati once. So we'll see what happens. I could be wrong about it. I actually like this team. That's the problem. I actually like this team. All right? Just don't know if I like the setup you got going on in 2019. So it is what it is. So to wrap up this division, Steelers, first place at 11-5. Ravens, second place, 10-6. Cleveland, third place, 8-8. Don't make the postseason. The first two teams in this division in Pittsburgh and Baltimore do make the postseason. And Cincinnati goes 3-13. So your AFC playoff picture looks like this. The New England Patriots are your 1 seed, followed by the Kansas City Chiefs as your 2 seed. Then you have the Pittsburgh Steelers as your 3 seed. Then you get into the Indianapolis Colts as your 4 seed. Then you get the Ravens as your 5 seed. And the Denver Broncos sneak in the postseason as your 6th and final seed in the AFC playoffs. So there you have it. AFC playoffs, NFC playoffs. Now we can break this thing down. Phone lines will be open as we get to this thing live. I open up the floor to you guys. What do you think is going to take place in this division, AFC North in 2019? Arguably the toughest division in all of football. Can't wait to hear from you guys. Remember, if it's not your man T, it's not the best NFL coverage. It could be. So we're done with all the divisions. Can't wait to hear from you guys on what you think is going to happen in this division and in 2019 in general. Should be a fun conversation. Looking forward to it. Until next time, I'm your man Louie T signing off. You guys have a good one.
Louie T Network.